Luminix was founded with a core focus on serving enterprise customers who have unique needs when it comes to mobile apps. That's why we built our Pulsar for Salesforce app from the ground up to be a flexible and highly customizable platform. We've always described it as an app as a platform, and our customers and partners have embraced this approach. Customizing Pulsar has always been straightforward. Now we're taking things to the next level with AI-assisted coding. Introducing Pulsar Copilot, a revolutionary tool that leverages ChatGPT, trained on our documentation and coding examples to create a coding assistant. In this demo, watch one of our engineers use Pulsar Copilot to effortlessly generate the custom code to solve a complex problem.
Hello. Today, we're going to introduce Pulsar Copilot, our customized GPT built on OpenAI's ChatGPT. This LLM was developed to help our users build applications on Luminix's Pulsar for Salesforce platform. While AI tools such as this are not infallible, they can be very effective at getting a project started and providing advice around best practices and new tools. This demo is aimed at tech-savvy individuals and developers alike, or anyone who just wants to see how developing on our platform works. We'll assume you have some knowledge of Salesforce and Salesforce Field Service, general web development, as well as familiarity with Pulsar and our associated Field Service Lightning app. Pulsar Copilot makes use of a currently developing, but soon to be publicly available tool called the Pulsar SDK. This is a JavaScript library that acts as a wrapper around our JS API methods. It includes some helper methods that are commonly used when building applications using the JS API. It is a lightweight module that enables everyone to get started building faster. Pulsar Copilot makes getting started as simple as stating some goals and takes care of a lot of the subtle nuances around working with Pulsar and Salesforce. Think of it as a pair programmer who has already read the manual. Let's consider a common use case. As a user, you frequently visit sites and need to update the associated contact information for various people related to that account. Currently, this can be done through a slow process. We open the schedule, we go to our service appointment, we select it from the list. From this screen, we have to open the native service appointment, find the account, go to the related list, click on Contacts, and here we can see the contacts associated with this account, but we can't edit any of them on this page. In order to do that, we'd have to click on one, click Edit, make a change, click Save, go back, and here we can see the changes resulting on this related list, but we can't edit all of them at once. We'd like to create a custom application for using Pulsar that can launch from the lightning bolt menu on a service appointment, show us all of the associated contacts, and allow us to edit the details displayed in the related list. We should be able to edit multiple rows at a time and save all the changes when we're done, updating the list and Salesforce. Let's ask Pulsar Copilot to do this for us. But before we do, let's talk about our setup. We'll need to have the Pulsar SDK, pulsar.js, and I'm also going to go ahead and include a copy of the minified Salesforce Lightning Design System, slds.min.css. This is their version 1, and it's readily available via the Salesforce website. This will allow us to keep our solution functional in offline situations by bundling this in our Pulsar app. Let's give it a prompt. We'll describe our goals. Let's build a Pulsar component that will launch from FSL on a lightning bolt menu item from a service appointment. It should display the account name for the related account as a page header. Let's see what Pulsar Copilot can do. We'll see that it's generating code, and it's going to describe what its strategy is for solving this. It's going to acquire the service appointment by looking at the ID in the URL search parameters. It will have also connected to Pulsar using the Pulsar JavaScript bridge, which is all encapsulated in the pulsar.init method. Once acquiring the service appointment, it's actually going to use a helper method called resolve SOQL field path This is a little bit strange, but it should work. It's going to use the field path through the account.name on the service appointment to get the account name. This code looks pretty good, so let's actually go see what it does. We'll copy it. We'll paste it into our index.html. We'll save it. We'll bundle these three items up. Call it demo.pulsar app. Then we'll go to our org, and we'll update the file that is attached to the lightning bolt menu action. We'll save this. Now we'll go back to our org. We'll sync, make sure that we download this file. I've already gone and set this up to be on a lightning bolt menu action called update contacts, which we'll see right here. When we click this, it's going to run our app. And as we can see, it's shown the account name at the top and some other information that we didn't really ask it to do, but it's demonstrating that it understands how to access these fields. Let's ask Copilot to help us build out the contact related list portion of this component. We'll add a prompt asking it to do just that. We'll request that it add a contact related list area to our component and remove the unnecessary data that it added. As we can see, prompts can be written in pretty casual English, and the GPT as an LLM is smart enough to know what we mean and derive context from it and make it relevant. So let's see what sort of solution it gives to us. Once again, it describes its plan, presents the code, and often leaves notes or suggestions for future improvements. You can see here, looking at the code, that we're going to get a layout for the related list, and we're going to do some fairly complicated work to resolve the fields into values, making calls to the database as necessary to retrieve those values from the contacts. It's going to build the rows of the table and then display them. And we've also removed the unnecessary data. So let's see what this does. It's loaded, and now we can see that the related list is presented for us here. Now, all of this information is accurate, but the styling's not good, and it's not editable. So we've got a little bit more work to do. So let's ask Copilot to make these fields editable and respect their data types. And we'll also add a Save All button that'll make all of these changes permanent and updated to our database. So we'll go over to our Copilot. We'll ask it to do exactly that. Let's make the fields editable and respect their data types. And let's add a Save All button to update the changes. Once again, keeping things simple, and we'll see what it says. We'll note that it's decided that it's going to get the S-object schema for contact, which will get the field metadata. We can see here that it's actually going to check on this metadata to figure out what sort of input type to use. And it's basically looking pretty good here. We're going to make these fields editable. They're all going to have different input types. So let's see what this does. We'll copy our code. Let's see how this looks. Definitely looks a little bit better. We can see that we have input fields here now and a Save All button. Scrolling over here, we can see all of these fields. Let's see what these do. Oh, well, lead source is a pick list, and it didn't do the correct thing there. But birth date is a date field, and we've got a date picker here. Let's change some of these dates. And we'll make a change elsewhere too. So we're editing all of these fields all at once. And click Save All. It's informed us that the changes have been made. So now let's see if that actually worked. We'll close out of here and reload that page, and we'll see if the data is reloaded with the changes. And it has. We see geologist there and the 3 dates. So this is great. So let's see if we can get Copilot to address the styles and also the pick list field type that it missed. We'll go over to our Copilot, and we'll just ask it to do that. We'll tell it, you missed the pick list style. for the field type. Also, let's add Salesforce styles to this page so that it looks like a Salesforce component. And let's see what it does. It tells us we're correct. So you can see it's included the Salesforce style sheet. However, it's done so from the web. And if we scroll down here, oops, we can see that it is attempting to address the pick list here. So we should see an update in our code. So let's take a look. We'll copy this. We'll update our code. And we're going to just change this link to be our local slds.min.css. We'll save this, and we'll bundle it all together. Now, had I asked it or told it that slds.min.css was available to it in the root, it would have used that immediately rather than linking. But I neglected to do that. But it's an easy enough change. So let's see, after we sync, what do we have? We're hoping that pick list field will be populated, and we can see that the lead source, which is the pick list field, does have populated values in it. However, everything is squished and very hard to see, but here are all the pick list values that we would expect. Let's try picking one. We'll pick web here, and we'll save it. And we'll see if that actually updates. But this time we're going to check in our native list view. So we'll go to our account, the related list for contacts, and we'll see that we have 2 web lead sources here, which is what we were expecting. So that worked. So let's see what we can do to improve the styling. So far, we've given Copilot a lot of tasks that are sort of handheld with what we want it to do as far as the structure of this component. Let's give it something a little more abstract. Let's ask it to just improve the style. We'll tell it the fields are squished, and we want the page to look better. Let's see what it can do with this. It seems to have some ideas, some standardizing on the widths of inputs. You can see that once again, it's using the link to the Lightning Design System style sheet that's on the web, so we'll have to change that. But if we scroll through the code a little bit, you can see that it's doing a little bit more styling. It's giving a description down here of all of the changes that it's made. Let's see what it did visually. And this definitely looks better. We can see all of our text. And the lead source is nice and clean. We've seen how Pulsar Copilot can help you get started building a component. We have demonstrated how we can use it to iterate through our development process and add features. Now let's see if we can do even more. Consider a use case where we have a well-defined design document for the component we want to build. We've written one over here. Let's see if Copilot can take this design document and turn it into some actual code. Checking out the design document, we can see that we've asked it to do pretty much everything in the previous examples. We've added a little bit more around the pick lists because we want to be able to handle the no data case. We've also told it that we should expect to see our styles in the slds.min.css location, just so that the code can run as soon as it is produced. We've asked it again to be styled appropriately and look nice. So let's drag this document over here, and we'll tell Copilot to build the following component. We can see that it begins by talking about a strategy to build this component. It then begins diving into the code, and we can see that it looks like a lot of the code that we've already seen. It's a little more enhanced at this point because it has full context of what it's trying to do. This might take it a little while to build. You can see it handling the field types here, building the rows of the table. Handling the save all. And to the bottom, initializing Pulsar and beginning the whole process. It's offered very little as far as what to do next. So let's go ahead and see how this looks. Take our code. Create our index.html. We'll bundle these resources. We'll upload this to Salesforce. And now we'll sync. And let's see what this component looks like. That looks pretty great. This is pretty much exactly what we saw before. But let's see if it handled the pick list component properly. You can see there's a none option here. So let's select that and save it. This was something we didn't handle before, and I overlooked, but it was definitely a problem as we want to represent no data in that field as an empty string. But the label should say something like none. So let's go see what we've got in our related list in the native view. We can see that the save did in fact remove the data and not put the wrong value in there, the label none. So going back to our component, we can see that we can start with a design document and build something pretty powerful right off the bat. This is a great starting point for developing a component and a good practice in general. We hope you've enjoyed this example. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. For more information, visit our website at luminixinc.com or send an email to sales@luminixinc.com.